Hi guys, how are you doing today? Today I'm going to share with you the book that I picked for this lesson plan and these activities. This is the book I picked. It's called Meteorology Activity Book. This book is actually packed with a lot of activities, but the main reason why I picked it is because my topic is about measure, record, and predict changes in weather to understand how climate affects economic activities in Texas. The book itself is very informative. This book has been created for STEM starters, for kids, younger kids, and it goes into what is meteorology, which it's part of the topics I develop in my lesson. This part right here is about the activities that my students will be working on, and it's about the different tools and instruments you use to predict, measure, and record weather. And they will be filling out a chart that looks just like this. And then we will be talking about different type of weather, just like the book says it. What makes it rain and why all these different type of weather affect or help predict different type of weather conditions. And they will be working on different type of trying to recognize stuff from the book and filling it out. In my lesson I talk about temperature and how it affects different part of the state of Texas, and why people choose to do different activities, economic activities, because of that. And now I'm going to read the main parts of the book. Meteorology Activity Book from Jenny Jacoby. She wrote this book. It starts with what is meteorology. It says meteorology is the study of the weather. We all study the weather each day when we step outside and wonder if it will be rainy or chilly or hot. Meteorologists study weather patterns to understand and predict the weather, which climate change creating increasingly unusual weather. There is a lot of meteorologists to study. Then it goes into measuring the weather. I'm going to read the main parts of it. It says the first step in studying the weather is to observe what the weather is doing in your area. Here are some of the tools meteorologists use, and it shows the different tools: thermometers, windsocks, pressure, rain gauges, windy days, tools for measuring the wind sit at 33 feet above the ground. Anemometers measure the wind speed by counting how fast the cups spin around, and a weather vane spins around to show the directions the wind is coming from. It keeps developing the book and talking about it, and talks about different tools we can use during different type of weather. What makes it rain? Rain and making clouds are part of the water cycle. He tells you a lot about the water cycle in this part of the book, and it teaches the kids different type of activities and how they can complete activities within just that topic. Then it goes into cloud spotting. For cloud spotting, we have an activity here in the book, and it goes cirrus, cirrocumulus, cumulonimbus, and stars. And then it tells you the different type of clouds here and where we can classify them into. There are three main types of cloud, and their names are all Latin words that describe how they look: columbus, stratus, cirrus. This is how the different type of clouds look like. It also talks about rainbows and why rainbows form. Rainbows are weather at its most colorful, but they only happen when the conditions are just right. To see a rainbow, you must be facing rain with the sun shining behind you. And it goes into some facts about it. And for younger kids, it tells you to draw one, and it tells you the different colors the rainbow starts with and what color goes after which color. And that's orange, red, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. What makes it snow? It also talks about what makes it snow. And snow forms when there is enough moisture in the air and when the air temperature is below freezing, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. In other words, it's the same as when rain clouds form, except that it's so cold that instead of forming raindrops, the water turns into ice crystals. When enough ice crystals gather together, the snow cloud becomes heavy and snow falls. It shows some activities for the kids to do, and it tells the degrees. In this degree, it will be rain because it's 37 Fahrenheit, and this one it will be snow because it's 30 degrees Fahrenheit, and this one it's 34, so it's not going to snow. And it lets the kids figure out based on the degrees they are showing in the book. Then it goes into temperature. What it says about temperature is that there are a lot of different reasons for how hot or cold it is where you are today. The temperature depends on the season, the wind, how far from the sea you are, how high above sea level you are, how far from the equator you are. Ecuador, sorry. And there goes into thunder and lightning. It also tells you about tornadoes and different patterns to follow to understand tornadoes, the monsoons, and talks into about it a lot for kids to understand what type of what does it mean. Tropical parts of the world have two main seasons, dry and monsoons. The change from one season to the other can be very dramatic. In some places, the monsoon season brings up to 90% of the year's rainfall. Perhaps the season should be called very dry and very wet. The problem with a lot of rain all at once is flooding. We know that in Kenwood and Texas too, because land that has been dry for several months isn't even to deal with it all at once. It goes into changing the weather and why the weather will change and certain patterns to follow for children to understand with graphics. Then goes a little bit into climate change. Talks about weird weather and if you ever heard about raining cats and dogs and why sometimes there have been frogs. There are raining frogs. And at the very end of the book, it gives you the answers for each page to see if the kids did the job right and they understood why what the activity was about. And that's it for now. It's a very, very interactive book, and it's really good to have one of these books with us in the classroom so we can teach science and the meteorology and climate. Thank you so much for listening.